Alrighty. Here we go.
Here we are. Here we are.
Here we are.
Woohoo! Woo! Weird Shit Wednesday, number 4.
Episode 4.
Woo!
How is it episode 4 already? I don't know.
Time flies.
When you're having fun and getting weird.
Weird.
Alright. So, let's dive into our 4th episode. This was a weird one for me.
Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble finding a couple things for it. So I think a lot of my things are very vaguely tied to the 7 chalices. One probably doesn't have anything to do with it, but I just thought it was funny, so I went with it.
Yeah, I also had that trouble because it's kind of a weird card where there's not like, it wasn't easy to tie anything in.
Yeah.
So,
It's a little more ambiguous.
For sure, one of mine I think I can manipulate to connect. The other 2 is a little more iffy, but if I have a moment of genius, I will connect them mid.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, it's our show. We can do what we
We'll
want.
do what the fuck we want.
We do what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it,
bye.
I don't care. It's not your show.
It's not your show.
Too bad. That's too damn bad. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad.
You keep recording.
Oh, God, cough fit. Okay, here we go. So, who's going to start first? Because I honestly don't remember who went first last time.
I don't remember either.
I'll go first.
Okay.
For the sake of whatever. Okay, so I'm actually really excited to share this first one with you because I think you're going to think it's really funny.
I remember you saying I was going to have to, buckle in.
You're going to have to buckle in. I don't know what strange corner of the internet I ended up in this week, but I ended up in a weird place, and I have a really funny, add-on story that's not in any way connected to this, but it is weird.
Okay.
And it does connect to technically 2 of my stories, so I will share it. But it might get us in trouble because it involves large phallic things.
Oh dear. Well,
yeah,
we like to live weird.
So my creature feature comes from Scotland.
Woo!
And so I'm going to try and pronounce this. I have heard this pronounced 2 separate ways, and I don't know which one is correct.
I'd say tell us which ways you've seen, and then pick your favorite and go from there.
So when I first came across this creature, it was on a TikTok video, and it was a gentleman from Ireland talking about this creature.
Okay.
He pronounced it the Fachan.
Okay.
But in other places, I went and tried to look up the official pronunciation of it, and I got Fachan. So but that doesn't sound right to me.
The first one sounds right.
So I'm going to call it the Fachan. This terrifying creature is believed to be so horrifying to gaze upon that should you see him, his appearance alone will induce a heart attack in the body of even the most healthy human being. He only has half a body, an impressive mane of black feathers, tufted at the top, and an impossibly wide mouth. And the Fachan is not the first thing you'd wish to see on a dark night. He is classified as a type of giant human hybrid. So believed to be kind of the bastard offspring of a giant and a human. Mm-hmm. He's frightened. He's a frightening and malformed, violent fairy or goblin, or sometimes referred to as a lesser demon in Scottish folklore. And can also sometimes be considered maybe a little more like an ogre or a small giant. So he's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, he's got a couple different
which will be the case the more I describe him, because all over the place is the textbook definition of this creature. Okay. So in Scottish folklore, fairies are seen as capricious, dangerous beings, and the Fachan definitely aligns with this. He's definitely a malignant entity, creature, thing, and he is believed to loathe life, period. Hates
life? No.
All living things, period. Can relate sometimes.
Yeah, it's valid.
Not gonna lie.
There's some days
he's a little relatable.
There's some mornings I wake up and I just no.
Yeah.
No to life. No,
yeah.
No to anything.
So, I personally vote that the next time I'm having one of those days, I'm just gonna be I'm a Fachan today. I'm having a Fachan day.
I don't give a fucking.
I don't give a fucking. Yes, not one fucking was given. Too bad he doesn't fly, because they're going to say I don't give a flying fucking. He does not have wings. It's one of the few weird things he doesn't have. The good thing is, even though he's so terrifying, his lair is really easy to spot, so you can avoid it. His lair is noticeable and is believed to be devoid of any living anything. No plants will grow there, no moss, nothing will grow there. Just decay and death. Surrounds this creature. And that is because it's believed that he will have murdered any other life form in that nearby area.
It's like, life, you offend me, go away.
Yeah. Animals, other fairies, humans, plant life, nothing. He don't like it.
It's just a void.
He's like, just let me rot in my little creepy dungeon cell and I'm happy. So the one good thing is, if you somehow manage to not have a heart attack upon seeing him, he's actually pretty easy to outrun, because Fakin is a deformed and awkward beast who only has one leg and one arm. He often carries a large club, or sometimes is depicted as carrying other weapons in that one arm. He has a singular cyclops-like eye, a goblin-esque face, and because of this, it's pretty easy to dodge or outrun him, because he's a little top-heavy and lopsided, and he's just hopping along on one foot.
Sounds
so,
like
you know,
his perception is probably not great either.
Probably not great. So if you're quick or agile, you're probably safe from the Fakin if he doesn't kill you. It is said that he is extremely strong, despite his awkwardness. So if you do get hit, you're done for.
Yeah.
And that he's believed to be able to lay waste to an entire farm in a single day. He is also quite often connected to, like, the folklore is connected to, like, the death of orchards, or something about apples in particular he really, really hates. And a lot of his folklore is tied to, like, blight and, like, the death of orchards.
So, like, a lot of, like, famine.
Yeah.
And just, like, crops failing.
Yeah, they blame the Fakin. They believe that if you gaze upon him, it can cause a heart attack or madness. And his half-formed body is it's also very similar to an Irish myth as well. And a couple Arabic mythologies known as the Sheik and the Nisnas, that have very similar, like, deformities and figurations. And all are viewed as kind of ugly, evil creatures. So a lot of times he is also referred to when he's carrying his club. If it's not the club, he is often said to carry a stick from which apples are dangling, but these apples are, like, poisoned, so that if they hit you, you will die of poisoning. Like, they're poisoned to the touch, which is another reason he's kind of tied into that whole orchard thing.
Gotcha. I get, like, Tree of Life.
Yeah.
And, like, evil step queen from Snow White when she poisoned the apple, like, combined together.
Yes, she created, like, a golem.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what she would have come up with.
Yes.
Douglas Hyde wrote a series of collections of folklore, but he quotes another author named Campbell in his collection. So he has a collection of Irish folklore called Beside the Fire. And his description is probably my favorite of the Fakin. How I came upon him. So his description is, quote, "He held a very thick iron flail club in his skinny hand, and 20 chains out of it, and 50 apples on each chain of them, and a venomous spell on each great apple of them, and a girdle of the skins of deer and roebuck around his thing that was his body, and one eye in the forehead of his black-faced countenance, and one bare, hard, very hairy hand coming out of his chest, and one veiny, thick-soled leg supporting him, and a close, firm, dark blue mantle of twisted, hard, thick feathers protecting his body, and surely he was more like unto devil than man."
Poetry, man.
Right? I was like, so the reason I came across this creature, and that's all the, like, information that's really out there about him. This guy thought it would be funny to challenge people to try and draw this description, because it is wild.
Yeah.
And it's literally like this, like, miniature giant with one freaking leg and an arm coming straight out of the middle of his chest holding this club. Cyclops. And then a lot of the descriptions talk about, like, a singular tuft of hair that sticks straight up out of the top of his head that is so, like, unruly that you can't even bend the hairs. But it's just like this, like,
It's like they have the
worst
uncombable hair
yes,
syndrome.
yes.
All in
It's
one
like
clump.
alfalfa if he was made of some like mythical, unbendable stuff.
Dang.
Yeah.
This dude sounds.
He's kind of wild, but
wonky.
the part that I'm excited to share with you, because I know as a D&D'er, you will appreciate this. I found, now given I don't play D&D, so I don't know this is an actual like official D&D thing.
It might have been like a homebrew.
Like a homebrew kind of thing, but someone made a like D&D sheet.
Oh my god.
For the Fachen. It's from a place called Red Steel. So I'm going to read this to you, and you can tell me as a D&D player what you think of his stats.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, to see if I want to come up against this.
You'll have to see if you want to add him to your next campaign.
Yes.
So his climate and terrain is barren mountains. His frequency is very rare.
I'm glad of that.
Organization tribal. Activity cycle during the day. Diet is carnivorous. Intelligence is low, 5 to 7. So he's not very bright. His treasure, I don't know what that means, but it says MQ with B in parentheses.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure what that might be. This might be from a specific
campaign, maybe.
Yeah, like a specific play format that I haven't played, but it's all sounding very
I love
very
it.
Good so far.
So his alignment is chaotic evil, which I think is fun. Accurate. Armor class 4, movement 10. Damage attack is 2d6.
Okay.
Special attacks is hurling rocks.
Okay.
Special defenses is surprised only on a 1.
Okay.
Magical resistance is nil. His size is large. He's 9 to 11 feet tall. Dang. So he's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
I mean, he's a giant. Or like giant ogre fairy demon thing.
Yes.
His morale is steady. And XP value is 2,000.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's like from a format that is different than what we play. We play D&D 5e, and we also do Pathfinder, but a lot. I know
someone out there will know what that means. To me, it just went. You're the teacher, and y'all going. I don't. I purposely avoid D&D because I know I would get sucked in. And
you need to join me.
I don't need more hobbies.
One of these nights.
I don't need more obsessions.
One of these nights, I will get you to join us on a D&D night.
At some point. Lord, what is this thing? And I can just imagine walking through an orchard and this thing hopping at me.
It's like a pogo stick with the sword.
Pogo stick of anger.
Pogo stick of anger. A pogo stick of I hate life.
Yes, with a club or what was it he described as like a stick that had 20 chains with 50 poisoned apples each. That would be menacing.
That would be menacing.
The good thing is he's slow.
Yeah.
Although I'm not a fast runner, so I don't know if I would survive this thing. But that is my Fachen.
Well, what the fucking, man?
What the fuck? If nothing else, we've got a new catchphrase.
So we go from beast with legs to mine, where I have beast with no legs.
Ooh.
Because we're going back.
A snack. I'm a snack. That's all I thought of. Sorry.
Not a snack. But we're going back to the water with fish.
Ooh.
Well, you're going to see and hear about the sea monk. All right. Well, so for my creature, I'm going back to the water. I'm finding it's funny. The cancer wants to go back to the water.
Sorry, all I can think is just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I had too much caffeine today. This is going to be a weird episode.
It's fitting.
It fits. It just fits. Wait till my next
one. We're on brand. Alrighty. So the sea monk, or sometimes known as the sea bishop, was given to the name of a sea animal that was supposedly found off the eastern coast of a Danish island of New Zealand in 1546. Excuse me. It has also been sighted by 2 fishermen and some nearby swimmers in Pula, Croatia in the year of 2011. And this is one of the more popular sightings of this cryptid in the Adriatic Sea. So I kind of found this one randomly. I was on just a cryptid zoology site and just randomly picked a letter, and sea monk was the one that popped up when I put the letter S. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of data on this one, so it's going to be a little short. That's okay. But the pictures is what sold it on me, because it is freaky looking, man, what they were describing it.
All right. Well, I mean, You saw what I brought you.
Fair. I think I might be on point with that.
Might be right on there.
Might be on
Maybe
the money.
we can have a Who's Uglier contest in the comments of our Instagram post.
Exactly. And so another cool fact about this one, though, the way it's described, this creature is thought to be the inspiration for a lot of the sea monsters that are on old maps that explorers would use when they're sailing across the seas. So the sea monk is described as a fish, or air quotes, fish, that looked superficially like a monk.
Superficially?
Yeah, we love those puns. We love those puns. And has been mentioned and pictured in the 4th volume of Conrad Gessner's famous Histoire Animalium. Gessner also references a similar monster that was found in the Firth of Forth, Scotland, and a sighting off the coast of Poland in 1531. So this thing's like
very different locations.
Yeah, this thing's popping up all over the place.
It's got range.
It definitely does. The sea bishop, or bishop fish, got a lot of different names, was a type of sea monster that reported in the 16th century. According to the legend, it was taken to the king of Poland, who wished to keep it. So he wanted a pet.
I mean, he had to boop the snoot.
You
know where I stand on booping the snoot.
Exactly. It was shown to a group of Catholic bishops to whom the bishop fish gestured and appealing to its release. So it's like, please let me go. It's like if you're trying to appeal to their better nature.
That's very cute.
They granted its wish, at which point it made a sign of the cross and then disappeared into the sea. In the early 1850s, Danish zoologist, I apologize if I butcher this name, Jeptus Steenstrup, suggested that the sea monk was a giant squid after comparing drawings of a squid to drawings of the creature after multiple alleged sightings. Other cryptozoologists believe the report may be based on the discovery of a funny-looking walrus. Once you see the picture, you'll kind of understand.
Walrus. You know, same thing.
Kraken. It's kind of a
goofy-looking thing that slithers in the water. You know, they're all the same.
Yeah.
One's a mammal, one's not. You know,
very much so.
Septipod,
I wonder if it's a lot to do with maybe some translation issues. Because
maybe.
We got Danish sightings, we got Polish sightings, we got Croatian sightings.
Yeah, so it could be lost in translation.
Yeah. So they're comparing drawings, they're comparing texts.
Or someone's just a really bad artist.
That too. More recently, it's been suggested that it was an angel shark, the Squatina squatina, which is its Latin name.
That's funny.
Which is most commonly called a monkfish.
I've heard of monkfish.
They are these
they're goofy looking.
They are goofy looking. They are,
but I kind of love them.
They're funky, and supposedly they're delicious if they're cooked.
I've heard,
way.
But as someone who doesn't like fish or seafood to start with, I probably wouldn't.
The only time I can visualize a monkfish is there's an episode of Malcolm in the Middle where Reese is like cooking this elaborate Thanksgiving dinner, and he like pulls out a monkfish because his plan was like he took like a quail that was stuffed inside a turkey that was stuffed inside a duck that they stuffed inside a monkfish.
Ew.
Yeah, and I was just like, what? So that's the only thing in my brain I can think of when I see monkfish. Others have suggested, though, that the sea monk could have been like a gray seal, a hooded seal, a monk seal. There's a lot of seal species out there, or a hoax such known as a Jenny Hanover, which is another cryptid for another day.
Now who? All
which are freaky.
Okay.
Freaky looking.
Okay. I look forward to learning about this Jenny Hanover thing.
Alrighty. Are you ready for the picture of our supposed
as ready as I'm ever gonna be?
Monkfish. Or sea monk.
What the?
Yep.
It's like if a frog and Darth Vader had a baby.
And he's wearing high heels almost.
He's kind of fabulous. I don't hate him. He is absolutely genetically fucked, but I kind of love him.
It's making me think like troll with fins wearing the cloak of a shark with like a bishop hat on. Yeah, so short and sweet.
I love it.
That's the monk. That is the sea monk.
The sea monk. Oh my god, that's going to be so funny later when I tell you my other story.
I'm ready.
Okay, speaking of my story. when I say I ended up on a weird side of the internet,
What hole did you dive down?
I don't know how I got here, which is probably not good. I am blaming this on TikTok because I made a big mistake when they banned TikTok and I deleted the app, which means I no longer have access to TikTok because you can't re-download it.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's back, apparently, if you kept the app. But I deleted it thinking, well, this is it, whatever. I'm not going to waste this space on my phone. So I've been stuck scrolling Instagram Reels, which is a weird and scary place.
The algorithm gets funky really quick.
Yeah. So I ended up in like the corner of the internet that's resolved and focused on strange animal occurrences in the world.
Okay.
But like really fucked up. Okay. So my What in the World is actually a real thing.
Okay.
And it is about a serial killer crocodile.
I think I might have heard of this.
Yep. This is where I ended up. This is what taking away TikTok has done to my life.
Oh, dear.
And the side story, which has nothing to do with anything for this podcast, but I'm still going to tell it because it's hilarious. And it's actually a conspiracy theory I might subscribe to.
All right.
But first we're going to talk about Gustav.
Gustav
From Berundi.
All right.
The serial killer croc.
Alrighty.
So, every culture has its monsters. The Scots have the reclusive Nessie, which will come to play in my other story later.
Okay.
In Nepal, they have the Yetis. In America, we have Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
In Burundi, they have Gustav.
Gustav.
The only difference is Gustav is real. Okay. Gustav has been found. Gustav has been seen, and he's been captured on film. Gustav is a man-eating male Nile crocodile that roams the Ruzizi River and the northeastern shores of Lake Tanganyika, trying to pronounce that right, in Burundi, Africa. He is rumored to have killed as many as 200 to 300 humans. Jesus. He has obtained mythical status and is greatly feared by the people of this region.
Someone needs to make a D&D stat for this guy.
He'd be fucking sweet. I just so every time I watched videos on this guy, I kept thinking of like the crocodile in Hook. Like the giant effing, because he's, okay, we'll get into that.
Yes.
But that's who I picture. So if that helps you with the visual.
Yes.
Gustav was named by a woman named Patrice Fay. She was a herpetologist who had been studying him since the late 1990s. Mm-hmm. Much of what is known about him comes from the film Capturing the Killer Croc, which aired in 2004 on PBS. The film documented the attempt to capture Gustav because they wanted to study him. Mm-hmm. His exact length and weight are unknown, but in 2002, National Geographic estimated he could be easily more than 20 feet long.
Wow.
And weigh well over 2,000 pounds. He's estimated to be approximately 60 years old, given this is at 2002, so now he'd be 80. And he's still growing, because crocodiles never stop growing.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh. They grow forever. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah. And they can live indefinitely.
Yeah, reptiles.
They live a very long time.
Yeah, reptiles that's true for pretty much all reptiles, is that they keep growing as long as they have accurate nutrition, and clearly this one does.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Well, we'll get to his nutrition here in a minute. Okay. So Gustav is the proud owner of 3 bullet scars on his body. He's been shot 3 separate times.
Okay.
One, his right shoulder blade has a deep groove carved into it from another attempt on him. Mm-hmm. Though we don't know any of the specifics about these scars, they're very distinctive to him. Yeah. They've also studied Gustav's claim on his kind of uncommon size and weight, has led them to learn that his ability to hunt the typical prey for the Nile alligator is hindered. He's too big and large to be able to be agile enough to capture the fish, antelope, and zebra that normal Nile crocodiles eat. So he has moved on to larger prey, and he is most well known for eating hippopotamuses, which, if you know how fucking terrifying those things are, that's his snack. He snacks on those bitches. He's also been seen to take down buffalo, and his favorite, humans.
Lovely.
Despite frequently being referred to as a man-eater, he doesn't actually eat them. Most of the human victims have been left as corpses alongside the river without a single bite being swallowed. So he just kills people for the fun. He doesn't actually eat them. Just the serial killer croc.
He's Dexter of the Nile.
Yes! I love Dexter. So in 2009, Gustav appeared in the Ruzizi River for the first time. And in a 2019 article about from Travel Africa magazine, they reported learning that Gustav had been killed. However, it's never been confirmed.
Mm.
There's no photographic evidence. No one has come up with like, here's the body, here's the skin, here's the, like, there's no proof that he actually died. Right. It's just a random claim that someone said that he was dead. Yeah. So there's no proof that he's not still living. Mm-hmm. And most Burundians, I think that's what they're called, forgive me if that's not, believed him to be still alive. Wow. So he's the largest apex predator in his territory, the undisputed king, if you will. He's very territorial against other male crocodiles and will kill them if they come in his territory. He has claimed numerous female Nile crocodiles in his harem. He has many, many ladies. He is believed to be very intelligent. Okay. Because he's lived so long. To the point where when they filmed that documentary, they tried to set a trap for him, and they built a cage specifically for him. And they put a goat in it and like partially submerged the end of the cage in the water. So he would have to come in to get the goat. Yeah. And first couple nights they caught other alligators in there. So they know that the trap worked. Mm-hmm. And then on like the fourth or fifth, and I can't remember which one, they came back the next morning. The goat was gone. The trap was trapped. There was no alligator. And they think it was Gustav, that he outsmarted the trap and ate the goat.
Is it a live goat or is it a dead goat?
It was a live goat.
Maybe he figured out a way to lure the goat towards the water and just
maybe, but I think the goat was like tied inside, like restrained.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's a smart gator. He's smart. He has tricked and escaped all attempts to hunt and kill him at this point. It is unknown if this has to do with just him as a person or his years of kind of living near humans and observing them, because this is a fairly populous area. Like, it's not like a big city or anything, but there's a decent amount of people there. And he's seen regularly. So he might have adapted to humans' hunting patterns and styles. As of right now, there are no known, like, confirmed sightings or like photographic evidence of Gustav past 2015, but there are many reports that he's still seen regularly in the river. Okay. As far as his origins, there's not much known about where Gustav came from. They believed, like I said, that they know for sure he started killing around 1965. So he's at least that old. Yeah. And that's when he would have reached maturity. But, I mean, we don't know how mature, how many years old he was when he started killing humans. But he would have had proper nutrients and food sources to reach that size. And so he has, at this point, based on the statistics we do have of him, he has a killing ratio of between 5 and 7.5 people per year. Wow. Which makes him one of the most prolific serial killers in Africa.
That is insane. Yes. Crocodile got the genetic lottery, man.
Yeah, he's crazy. Yeah. So he's so well known and feared among the locals that he is even now the inspiration for a Hollywood movie. And that movie came out in 2007. It is called Primeval. And it is an American action adventure horror film directed by Michael Kettleman, starring Dominic Purcell, which, if you've ever seen Prison Break, he plays Link. Oh! So Dominic Purcell is in that. Brooke Langdon, which I don't know her super well, but you will recognize one face from this. He's also starring Orlando Bloom himself. Oh! So he's famous. They got Orlando Bloom. And the story of Primeval follows, very similar to Gustav's story, where they go to a country in Africa to hunt down this mythical crocodile, inspired by Gustav, and then he ends up eating everybody.
This makes me think of the movie Anaconda.
Yeah, I could see yes. Or have you ever seen Lake Placid?
I don't think so.
Don't. one of the very few horror movies to genuinely like terrify the fuck out of me.
Okay.
But it's a very similar story where this takes place in America, and these people go to this small lake, and there's like this ginormous killer crocodile living in Lake Placid. But you find out that like the locals feed him
Oh,
and encourage him to eat people.
dang.
He makes their problems go bye bye.
He's like, bye bye.
So
thanks for snack.
yeah.
Okay.
So that is Gustav.
Oh, that's crazy. Do you know what? So it's like crocodiles. Do you know what the difference between a crocodile and an alligator is?
Something about saltwater, freshwater is part of it, I think.
That's part of it. And then also the shape of their snout and nose, and that's how you can tell the difference. So crocodiles have a more wide and C-shaped jaw, and then alligators have a more...
They're more pointy, right?
They're more pointy, and they have a wider at the base, like where the jaw opens, but then it narrows and has more of a snout.
I think either way, I'm not touching that snout.
That's fair.
Neither of them. I'm not getting, and especially in Burundi, stay the fuck away from the rivers in Burundi, otherwise you're gonna get...
Gustav's coming for you.
He going, but just go... I think the part that scares me most is the fact that he doesn't eat them.
Yeah.
Like, if he's eating them and, like, sustaining life, do your thing, man. But he's literally just killing people and leaving their bodies on the side of the river. Like, haha, look what I did.
Maybe it's slightly territorial. Like, hey, you came into my space.
Maybe.
I'm not hungry right now, but you're messing around in my home.
It's just, I can
Gustav's
just, can you just imagine 20 feet of teeth coming at you? Like, that is terrifying.
It is.
He's so scary.
Gustav
but I
is
love
implementing stand your ground law.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Fair. And with a name like Gustav, you kind of got to defend yourself. It's not a very fear-inducing name. Gustav. But I like Gustav.
Gustav's cool.
But he took me down a really weird part of the internet.
That is strange.
Yeah, although.
Well, we like the strange here.
We like the strange.
We like the strange. We like the weird. One way or another, we get there.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're getting into another branch or arm of the weird world. And you'll see why I made that comment in a moment here.
Okay. Interesting.
So, my what in the world is more getting in touch with grief and the way people process this at times. So we all know grief is a natural process, and I would say almost everyone has experienced it in one way or another.
For sure.
We've all lost something in our lives, whether that be a loved one, a pet, maybe a favorite sweater you forgot at your ex-best friend's house. I want it back, but I never will.
So sorry.
It's okay. Grieving a body part.
I think I know you're going with this. I do, and I'm excited because I find this fascinating.
Yes. So I found this fascinating as well, and I was introduced to this by a TikTok and Instagram personality whose name is Eldiara Doucette, who goes by Semi-Bionic Barbie on both those. It's awesome. That's a great name. She's been documenting her journey through fighting cancer, which is unfortunate, but she is a kick-ass, badass boss lady who is fighting soft tissue sarcoma.
Ooh,
it's a rare and aggressive form of cancer that presents with malignant tumors that develop in the body's soft tissues, such as muscles, fat, and nerves. As a result of one of these tumors forming in one of her arms, if it's her right arm, I believe, she and her doctors made the decision to amputate above the elbow to prevent the tumor from spreading to the rest of her body. Ooh. Yeah, so super hard decision and incredibly brave.
Yeah, so, but if it's an arm or your life, I get it.
Exactly.
I'd be like, lop that bitch off.
I've said the same thing. If it's my limb or my life, take the limb. Although, if it's my leg, I need my hands to knit.
You'd learn how to knit with your feet. You'd find a way.
I would find a way.
Cars would be over there with one hand and one foot, her teeth just knitting away. You can crochet with one hand.
You can. You can crochet with one hand. This is true. I've seen people figure out different techniques to do that, which is awesome. So, in this process, Doucette has documented the days and hours leading up to surgery with pictures and videos of her holding things with the hand that will soon be gone. Just having that mental fortitude to realize, hey, I'm holding this person's hand for the last time with my hand.
I can't even fathom, like, what that would be like.
Yeah, just like...
Just knowing, like, this last time I'm going to pet my cat with this hand.
Yeah.
Last time I'm going to, like, feed myself with this hand. No.
Mm-hmm.
She gets all of my, like...
We are not worthy.
We bow down.
Bow down, girl. You badass. But she tells her followers that she made a final request from one of her surgeons. Can I keep my arm?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So typically in situations of amputations, the limb that is removed is sent to biohazard crematoria, and it's destroyed. So it's a limb. However, in other cases, the limb is donated to medical colleges for the use of dissection and anatomy classes, which is awesome, bettering getting the next generation of doctors ready. However, on rare occasions, when it is requested by the patient for religious or personal reasons, the limb will be provided to them. I love that. So I did a little digging at why, what are some reasons that people would want a limb back, or what are some purposes behind it. And the common school of thought amongst some groups that ask for these body parts back is keeping a person's body together is necessary for a smooth transition to the spirit world.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. So being able to have the limb returned to you, usually in a preserved state. So I would imagine they usually preserve it kind of like at a funeral home or things like that.
Embalmment.
Yeah, embalmment or in some kind of container. So that
when
when
a jar with pickles,
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be such a fun trick to play on someone, though. If you had maybe not an arm that wouldn't fit in the fridge, but if you had a hand.
Yeah.
Put that shit in a jar, in the back of your fridge, where it's not super noticeable, until someone goes digging one day and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly. They're like, hey, do you have any jam? Like, yeah,
it's in the back corner.
Like,
I would do that.
Yeah. Like, oh, jam. I thought you said toe jam. So, being able to have all of your body with you, so when the person would inevitably have their natural passing or when their time actually came, they can be buried with the limb so that they are whole when it's time for their spirit to leave.
That's very cool.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of indigenous or some spiritual groups that believe you need to have your entire body with you, otherwise you are damned either to hell or an in-between because you don't have all of your body with you. I think there's a couple Grey's Anatomy episodes about that too. And
you say it feels familiar.
Yeah.
From some weird medical TV show I watched.
And things will not even just limbs, sometimes organs will be requested as well. So if someone's having a heart transplant, the part that was the organ that was removed, they'll ask for that back for it to be buried with them as well. Because even though you're getting a new heart, it's not the heart you came into this world with. Interesting. So you want to leave this world with the heart you came with. Very interesting. Yeah. I'm okay.
That's kind of cool.
It's very cool. So Semi-Bionic Barbie's request was granted, and she was able to have her amputated arm preserved at a funeral home, where she then held a wake/funeral with a group of close family, friends, and family. Doucette posted pictures of her clad in a black veil and attire, and her now removed arm resting on a pillow, nails painted, and adorned with a beautiful rose corsage. That's awesome. As it should be. Plans on what Doucette is going to do with her arm now have not been posted, but her caption about the event beautifully highlights the importance of allowing others to grieve in their own manner and the catharsis that comes with it.
So cool.
Yeah. And I took a screenshot and was able to get her caption from her post. If you want to go look at the photos, they are wonderful. It's really interesting to see how the hand looks, because obviously you can tell that it's been through a lot. It's been through the process, but it's just so interesting. I'm glad she got to have this experience.
What a nice way to have closure.
Yeah, for sure. So what started as a joke, holding a service for my amputated arm, ended up being a beautifully cathartic experience. I laughed at the absurdity of it for a minute, and then just stared at the shriveled up skin for a while, trying to remember the past 22 years I was able to spend with this thing. I've held many hands, felt the skin of loved ones, picked up spiders to take outside, saved worms off the sidewalk, wiped away tears, pet dogs, and picked many dandelions. I played piano, guitar, ukulele, an act that I'll never get to experience again. I always joke that my arm tried to kill me, but after looking at it on the table, seeing the scars it collected over the years, I realized it too was just a victim of this disease, and it made the ultimate sacrifice on my behalf. Cancer has taken a lot from me and still continues to, and it's uniquely difficult to say goodbye to a limb like this. But this experience has helped me process the finality of this situation. I'm so grateful for the mortuary for being so accommodating of such an unconventional request. They treated her with the same respect that they would with a full loved one. They painted her nails and livened up her skin, gave her a pillow to rest on, and a blanket to make her comfortable. Nobody is built with the understanding of how to navigate a situation like this, uniquely devastating. But I think I chose the right path. I'm indefinitely grateful for my loved ones who are willing to go to my own funeral with me. I'm glad I was able to say both thank you and goodbye.
That's so sweet. I love that.
Yeah.
Aww.
And some of the posts that I've seen since then, it looks like she's living life well. The surgical site seems to be healing pretty well.
Good.
She's still going through a couple treatment things, but she's kicking ass.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So the importance of being able to grieve in your own way and being able to say goodbye to things, it's super important. And even if it's a little weird and unconventional, if it helps, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, closure is such an important part of grief. As I'm speaking from experience, losing my dad last year, that was the hardest part for me, is I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to like tell him I loved him and have him hear my voice one last time, because it was such a sudden, like, he was in the hospital, but he was incoherent and he never fully regained consciousness. So like, I didn't, and so like that was legitimately the hardest part of everything. Like through the whole process of, you know, planning his funeral, burying him, grieving, everything, like that was the part that stuck with me the longest, was like that not being able to say goodbye. And you know, I've worked through it, but like, yeah, having that closure, like, I can imagine would be so cathartic for her.
Yeah. So semi-bionic Barbie, good on you. You are,
and you have great taste in the username.
You have a great taste.
I love that.
Your aesthetic is awesome. Like
I love that.
I only wish the best in life for you.
Yes.
You are happy, healthy,
and praying for and hoping for and sending positive vibes for remission, so that you don't have any more bionic arms to bury.
Yes.
Or legs or anything. Yes. Hopefully only one arm funeral.
Yes.
That's what we want.
Yes.
That's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were going to talk about how they treat phantom limb pain.
Oh.
Which is really fascinating because they do it using mirrors.
Yeah.
So they reflect the other and make it, it's like, it's a really cool, like, neurological phenomenon. But this is way cool.
Yeah, I've seen videos of that where like they'll set the hand that is there and like put a mirror there, and then they'll like throw a hammer down or something, be like, it's not there.
Yes. Yeah, it's a really
like,
cool
retrain the brain,
like neurological trick that your brain can comprehend that then. It's all fascinating. Our brains are fascinating. We don't deserve them.
No.
Sometimes they're assholes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if I had to, like, if we think about all the things the brain is responsible for, like, I gotta give that bitch a little bit of credit, even when she's being a bitch. Like,
for the most part, she's keeping us alive.
She's keeping us alive. She's like processing a bajillion things at once. I'm gonna give her a little leeway. Yeah. All right, so should we head to spooky spotlights?
Yes. What are we spotlighting with the spookiness?
All right. Again, I don't have a super long one, so this is my short one, and this is probably the only one that like sort of ties into the card for this month.
Mine also was the only one that sort of ties
look at
into
that.
the card.
I mean, yeah. So, this is a local story, actually.
Oh.
And again, I keep running out on this weird side of TikTok. And this one I ended up on like local ghost stories, which was actually cool. I don't mind ending up on that side of the internet. But this one comes from Wisconsin, from Evansville to be specific. And it is the legend of Weary Road, or sometimes known as the legend of Old Man Weary. Okay. So, Old Man Weary is an ongoing haunting said to take place on Weary Road, a narrow paved track approximately a mile south of Evansville, Wisconsin. Weary Road is a quiet country road, a 2-lane road, to the east of Evansville. What makes it unique is a random canopy of trees that line the west end of the road. And they mean like, there's just it's all flat. I watched a video of like someone driving down it. And it's literally like fields, farmland, your typical, southern Wisconsin landscape. And then out of nowhere, there's just this like bunch of trees, like on either side of the road for like a very short distance. It's not super long. That are so thick they literally grow over the top of the road, so you're like driving through a tunnel of trees in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
So yeah, it gives it an eerie cathedral-like feel. After passing the trees, you'll come to a narrow bridge. Then immediately after that, there's a 90-degree turn north. From there, it's a series of zigzags over a set of railroad tracks where Weary Road will end, merging onto Highway 14. The reason this story or this road is so famous is that there have been countless reports of weird shit happening there. Some of these reports are that if you park your car on that bridge at night and turn it off, you will not be able to restart your car.
Oh, no thank you.
So don't do that. There have also been reports of phantom cars and motorcycles where they see someone driving at them and then they look in the rearview mirror and there's no one there. Yep. There have been reports of dark figures moving across the road or following people. There have been reports of people walking alongside the road and then people pull over and they're just gone. Yes. Strange orbs of light or a mysterious green glow at the end of the road near the bridge. There are reports of if you stop near the trees, you might hear screams or inhuman type sounds. Some believe that this might be like the imp-like creatures that live in that little grove of trees. People have also reported that while driving down Weary Road, they have been scratched on different parts of their bodies while driving. But the most famous report is of Mr. Weary himself.
Okay.
It is said that if you visit Weary Road 3 times, Mr. Weary will appear to you. According to legend, he does not reveal upon himself until your 3rd visit, and then he will appear in your rearview mirror. At first, he will be a distant figure, but each time you glance back, he will get closer and closer until his face becomes clear and terrifying.
Ew.
Yes.
This makes me think of this like trending game where like you have like a friend stand on one side of the room, you're on the other side, you turn the light off and have to try and get closer to each time you turn it on.
Absolutely.
No.
And at first, I did some digging because when I first came across this video and like they talked about, the first part of the video talked about like the bridge and how if you stop your car and it won't turn back on. And I very vividly remember watching an episode of, what's it called? With Zach.
Ghost Adventures?
Ghost Adventures, thank you. An episode of where they did, I don't think it was this haunting, but something like they had the exact same rumor where like if you stepped on this bridge, you like wouldn't be, or like in this specific part of this road, you wouldn't be able to turn your car back on. They did like a test of it. And I was like, oh my God, is this the same one? It's not.
Dang.
But it still felt so familiar. But what I find interesting and where it kind of ties into our card is the story of Old Man Weary himself. So nobody really 100% knows how this legend began or why or where. But there is record, and I did find the grave of who is believed to be this Old Man Weary. His name is Louis Weirly. Well, weird. Wearly. Weirdly.
Okay.
And he did live in Evansville, Wisconsin, in the 1800s. Late 1800s. I think he died in like 1905. It is said, and the story goes that Mr. Weirly really enjoyed children. He liked to spend time with children, provide things for children. He really enjoyed kids. He never had any of his own, from what I can tell. And he just liked children.
Just wanted to be like a caretaker to them.
Yes. Unfortunately, he got a bit of a reputation around town where I don't know whether he did something, there was never like any information, or if people just didn't like him or what, but the townspeople decided they didn't really like how much he liked children. And that perhaps they made it weird. Whether he made it weird or they made it weird is kind of unclear because the legend goes differently depending on where you look. But he was eventually accused of being a pedophile. He was never proven guilty. He was never committed, never charged with any crimes. officially, but the parents of the neighborhood decided to secretly conspire to get rid of him.
Okay.
And it is rumored, again, this is all story,
This is alleged.
but it was rumored that one night the parents, specifically the fathers of a few of the children that would frequently hang out in Mr. Weirley's house, snuck into his home and burned his house to the ground with him inside.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, there were children in the home when this happened.
Oh, no.
Who also perished. And it is reported that they also died in the fire. It is rumored and believed by most people that believe in this legend that Weirley was innocent. He was just a nice old man who wanted to, like, give nice things to kids and help be like a grandfatherly type.
Like mentor.
So most people that follow this legend believe that he was innocent and that they murdered him and these children for no reason. Gotcha. Which is why it ties in the card, because 4 Cups has to do with regret. So maybe the regret that it's a stretch, but it sort of does. But yeah, so it is believed that
was it 4 or was it 7? Because I
was 4.
Oh, shoot. Well,
that's okay.
It's a cup.
Whatever. We're just, living out here in our own thing. Okay. Maybe, yeah. So yeah, that is the legend of Mr. Weirley. And it is believed that he still roams that patch of, that's where, the patch of trees is where his house once stood. And that he is cursed to roam that highway ever since to seek justice for his murder.
Dang. You know what? If I was murdered, I would probably do that too. Yeah. I wonder why specifically the bridge or that road, though. Was it near his house?
That's what they believe, that outcropping of trees is where his house once stood.
Oh, okay.
Or at least that's kind of the gist I got. There's not a lot of information on this story. I found it on several different websites, but it just pretty much reiterates the same thing. And I tried to deep dive into finding anything about him, but the one and only thing I can find is his grave marker.
Gotcha.
And you can find that. You can look it up on Google and see his grave marker. There's a photo of his headstone and the date of his birth and death and his full name. But yeah, there's a lot of information about and there's a ton of YouTube videos of people driving Weary Road and so it's if you ever want to watch them, they're really creepy and cool. But yeah, it's one of those fascinating,
very cool,
very interesting little spooky local story.
Spooky. We like it. I also have a fairly short one, and it's funny because for some reason I got the number 7 stuck in my head. I thought it was the 7 of chalices.
Our last recording we did remote. It was weird. I was sick. It was right before Christmas.
Yeah,
we get a pass.
We get a pass. So from when I was looking up the 7 of chalices, it was the meaning. Well, if I remember off the top of my head, it was being able to take up new opportunities, but taking a warrant, also receiving warning that it may not turn out the way you think it's going to be.
Oh, I like that way better than the other 4. The 4 is all about regret and basically not living up to your potential.
Dang. Well, I took it as okay, well, does it mean for a warning, maybe ghostly things warning you of something? And it made me think back to this TikTok video I saw back in November. So this is a recent haunting. In this TikTok video, it's this young man. He's getting ready to do some laundry, and he's put all the clothes in. He's shut the door. It's one of those standing washer dryer sets, so they're stacked.
The stackables, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it's lower, and it's a glass door.
Yep.
Whatnot. So the door is closed, and he appears he's ready to start the cycle when the little door on the side where you put the detergent in, it pops open on its own. It's okay, kind of weird. Okay, weird. So he, not thinking much of it, he closes it again, only for it to pop open again. So, but he seems not super surprised or unnerved by this. He's what do you want? So, looking at other comments and other videos, apparently him and his partner have a ghost in their house that they have named Ethel.
I love that.
And Ethel will
It's a great name.
It's a great name because they think she's an old lady who just they're in their house. They're in her house, so she's just messing with them and kind of
letting herself
being a curmudgeon-y old woman, kind of poking at them. And she'll knock stuff over and just
reminding them that she's still there.
Exactly. So, like, they go back and forth with this for, like, a little bit. He's, like, popping it closed. She pops it back open. He's like, well, what? What do you want? It's like, I already put the detergent in. Like, do I need to put the softener in? So he goes and grabs the softener, puts it in, closes it, pops back, and what do you want? I put the softener in. He's, like, looking around for a few more minutes. He's getting more frustrated with it. It's like, what? And then he looks down, and I can't quite tell what he's saying, but it's something to do with his cat. He's like, is it about the cat? So he, like, tries to look for it for a second, doesn't see it, and then pops open, pops closed again, and then he looks down closer and sees his cat in the washer!
Yes, I saw this video, and I was like, oh my god, this is freaking hilarious.
Like, the cat is literally, you can
poor kitty.
So they have to pop the door open. The cat's, like, literally, like, almost, like, right there next to the door. Pulls him out in this big, fluffy, gray cat.
It was a very cute kitty.
Very cute. And I was like, how the fuck did you not notice your cat jumping into the washer? Oh my god. And this is this big, fluffy, gray cat. So
he was a big cat.
Maybe he had a bunch of, like, it was a light load, and maybe it was a bunch of dark laundry. But, like, how do you not notice your cat? So,
poor kitty.
So Ethel saved the kitty.
I like Ethel.
Thank you, Ethel. That is
honestly, if I had a ghost that did that, I'd be like, you can stay.
Yes.
You are officially invited to stay in that house.
Yes, Ethel, you are welcome to stay in my house. If you are going to give me warnings, you're going to tell me when I forget my keys, when I left the oven on,
when I almost murdered my cat.
Yeah.
Which also, what a stupid cat to be crawling in a wash. Why are we doing this, cat?
Exactly.
What? We don't need to be in there.
Or how unobservant is your owner?
Well, it was a man. That's all I can say.
Fair enough. So, good warning from a ghost.
I love that.
Yeah, from my accidental, not the correct tarot card meaning.
You know,
but it's okay.
I think it worked out for the best.
It's okay.
It worked
Take
out
it as a warning.
best.
Check your washer
Check
and
your
dryer.
washer and dryer. Save a kitty's life.
Yeah.
Get you a ghost named Ethel.
Yeah.
She'll get you back.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. All right. Do you want to hear my random extra story?
Oh boy. Bonus story.
When I say buckle in. Okay.
Bonus story.
So I actually told this to some people at work the other day, and they thought it was hilarious. So if you don't like stories about penises,
click away.
Stop listening. Or skip to the end of this video. So because of Gustav, I ended up going just down this rabbit hole of like weird animal phenomenon.
Yeah.
And this will tie back into many things. It will tie actually all the way back to our very first episode.
Really?
Because it has a little bit to do with Nessie.
Okay.
And some other sea creatures.
Okay.
Like krakens.
Ooh.
So I found this video in which this person was talking about a theory that has recently come to life.
Okay.
It's a bit of a conspiracy theory, but it has enough logic behind it that I think I believe this one. Okay. I'm not a big conspiracy theory person, but I think this is one I'm gonna full-heartedly commit to.
Okay.
So throughout the ages, as sailors sailed the world and the seven seas and the oceans and all this stuff, so many of them would come back with tales of large sea monsters.
Yeah.
They talk about these like serpent-like things, Nessie being one of them, these weird creatures popping up out of the ocean and these giant like veined things like coming up out of the dark, right?
Yeah.
What if I told you there's a theory saying that all of these sailors were actually just seeing the penises of blue whales?
Oh, I know exactly. I've seen this theory before. Yes, I've heard this theory before.
This is where I ended up on the internet. And that's when I said that's enough internet for one day. But yes, it is believed now by many people that because they have photos now, like now that we have digital, ability to like capture anything at any given time, where whales will come up and like air out their dongs, Yeah. They're just like, and they're big. Like they can be up to like 16 feet long.
Wow.
So as a sailor back in the day, before you really knew about what lived in the ocean, I could picture like my sailing along, it looks like I'm driving a car, but whatever. You're in the ocean. It's maybe like dark
or not. Hello, sailor.
Yeah, exactly. And you just see this 16-foot veiny dick coming out of the water. What are you gonna think it is? Especially if it's not like right there. If it's like, you know, off in the
Far
distance.
out. There's like shadows. There's like waves.
Yes. Fair. Like, I get it. And I was like, you know, so I fully have committed to believing in this theory that all like famous sea creatures were just whale penises. And the funny thing was they actually had a picture. So like, you know, the like famous photo of Nessie where it's like the head coming up like this.
No.
There's a photo that is the exact shape of Nessie that's a confirmed whale penis. So Nessie might just be a penis.
There you go, guys.
You didn't know when you came that we were going to get this weird, but I heard this theory and I went, I just have to share it. Like, I didn't want to do a whole segment on it, but I was like,
it's all dicks.
You know, if you see something waving in the breeze in the middle of the ocean, it might just be a penis. It might not be Nessie. Yep. Well, and I think that's where we leave it this week.
Yep. We'll leave it on that.
We'll leave it on whale dongs. But I did think that with being February, there are a lot of, I think, mythological and spooky stories that surround the concept of like love, cupids.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do a like Valentine theme instead of drawing a tarot card.
Yeah. It's kind of like the lover's card, but like in a different spice.
Yes.
I'm into it.
I like it. I bet there's some creepy stories out there that have to do with like wronged lovers or anti-Valentine's Day or whatever. So
I'm into it.
Let's do it.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, I think that's that.
Thanks for joining us and thanks for getting weird with us.
As always, I've been Kelly.
I've been Carson.
And this has been
Weird
Shit
Wednesday.
See you next month. Bye.